I know people are always dying to listen to another white guy's opinion on modern politics, but I like to think that I might have something to say, and I like to think that somebody might like to listen. Going into this, I think I should say that I have absolutely zero formal training on history or sociology, so everything going forward is coming from a completely regular dude with ego enough to think that anybody's listening. I think we all too often get to let our society decide who we lift to heroism, and this is in retrospect, usually. We get to ignore the issue while it's happening, and then years later, when the persecutors decide that it's actually a good thing and an example of how we should all be, we get to feel satisfied in not being part of the prosecution. All I did was ignore it after all. How can I be the bad guy? I bring this up because we watch it happen time and time and time and again. I don't know if there's a good way to break this cycle, but at least we can try to bring attention to it. Luckily, we can let our history inform our present, and boy is there a lot of history to draw on. But let's focus up, man. Joan of Arc was born in Domremy-la-Pucelle. No, that's not it. She was born in Domremy-la-Pucelle, France. There it's stated that she was guided by the voices of Saint Catherine, Archangel Michael, and Saint Margaret. Joan, empowered by a local prophecy that said that France will be saved by a virgin.
Guys, this is Skippy.
Hey guys.
Had her uncle take her into town so that she could petition Robert de Baudricourt to take her to Chinon. Robbie said, "Get out!" and then sent her home. Then some raiders came and blew up her town.
And then you blow up.
And so she went back, and Robbie said, "Get out of here." But this time she had some really convincing friends, and so Robbie said, okay, come to Nancy. Now, I don't know who the hell Nancy is. But this is a pretty big deal. While she was there, she won over a lot of the people in Vaucouleurs with her good nature, and so they gave her a bunch of boy clothes and they sent her off. She got to Chinon, and the future King Charles was really liking her vibe, but she had to get some tests done just in case her vibes were actually the devil.
I am the embodiment of everything you fear and love. Ooh, thanks for the galaxy.
The test came back negative, so she got some pretty cool armor and like an awesome sword, and I think that she had like a training montage or something. Joan and gang zipped over to Orleans to free it from a siege, and the commander snuck her in. For the most part, she was kinda seen as a figurehead, but weirdly enough, she was always seen in the thickest part of the battle. The fellas fighting really started to see her as a symbol of their salvation, and they started fighting harder when she was around. She started to gain more control, and she led a series of victories that eventually freed Orleans from the English. This is the win that she needed to prove that she was actually sent by God. The French loved it, and the English said that she was the freaking devil, dude. And the English are always right, so... Joan and the Armagnacs, the cool French, not the English ones, started going crazy, clearing a path for Charles VII. They took a city, Joan got domed, she was pretty chill about it. They fought over Mung, and then they had an epic battle at Patay where they totally thrashed the English. Pretty soon after, Charles is crowned and everybody heads over to Paris, where Joan has another epic victory, and she saves all of France, and the angels come down and they sing hymns. No, wait. She fails once, and everybody kind of drops her, and they all think that she stinks now. What the hell? Anyway, she gets sent out again, and she takes the city of Compiègne, but then she gets captured by their Burgundians. No! Joan was shuffled around for a while in captivity, but then she gets handed over to the English. Oh dear God. After a sham-ass trial, Joan of Arc was convicted not for leading men to kill or for crowning the wrong king, but for wearing men's clothing. At 19 years of age in the city of Rouen, she was burned at the stake and her remains were thrown into the Seine River. Okay guys, I swear that all of this has a point. I needed to explain all of this to set up my opinion that when we're looking at these historical figures, it's important that we humanize them. At one point in time, these weren't just names on a paper or silly guys in a funny painting. These were people, young and old, living in trying times, hoping that what they were doing would be enough to change their present. Joan was a strange girl, and she had such a fervent belief that even those around her thought it was a little bit odd. We're lucky to have such a detailed account of her personality. Most of this is coming from her very well documented court case and the second inquest that happened around 20 years later, where they interviewed the people that were closest to her. She was likable and quick-witted, and her belief carried such momentum that even after death, her actions continued to shape France for centuries. And as always, in retrospect, when the immediate benefit of silencing opposition wanes and power gets reconsolidated, those at the top get to apologize. But it's okay, because now she's a saint, and all those fools at the time just didn't get it, but we're so freaking smart now. Joan was loved when she was useful, discarded when she failed, defamed and persecuted by those she opposed, and now we all get to agree that we would have seen the truth at the time. Now I can finally explain what I meant when I said I'm going to be talking about modern politics. That's right, baby. It's Greta time. I'm only 1 year older than Greta Thunberg, and at the time I really didn't understand the weight of what she had to say. The alt-right YouTube pipeline almost had me in its clutches, and I was laughing alongside everybody else at this silly girl who was just making noise. It wasn't until I broke free that I figured out, isn't it better to make noise than to have to look back and know that you stood by silently? Media loved Greta when she was nice and palatable, but when she stopped fitting the agenda, she got discarded. That's why I want to humanize the past so that we can inform our present. 50 years from now, when the earth is nice and crispy, are we going to look back at that 15-year-old and go, oh, dang, why didn't we freaking listen? We were so stupid. If only we were as smart as we are now. Well, she's still making noise, guys, and whether or not it amounts to something, I think we have a duty to at least bear witness. Maybe we can break that cycle of retroactive sainthood. If you want to learn more about the actual person of Joan of Arc, I recommend this book. I don't think I did anyone any justice in this video. I don't think I could, but I'm here making some noise, and maybe it's just going out into the void, but maybe there's someone that wants to listen. If that's the case, thanks for feeding my ego, and free Palestine.